Last week, we started the long, tedious job of piecing together a supercharged 5-litre V8 engine after a bad tune damaged 2 of the 8 cylinders, melting pistons and destroying the exhaust catalysts. Not only that, we've promised the customer it'll be finished by the end of the day. In this video, we get it running again and take it out for a road test.
We're going to upgrade some of these plastic coolant housings for metal ones. So we've got the little link tube here that goes behind the water pump, slots from there into there, like so, with new seals obviously. We've got a metal upgrade there with new seal and second new seal. And then we replace this Y piece, which is prone for cracking and splitting. As you can see, it's like two bits of plastic that have been joined together, so it's a bit rubbish. With this solid aluminium one, that in turn links to the next bit. Again, the old one was plastic. There's the coolant rubber hoses still attached to that one. Same thing, plastic, two pieces, sort of bonded together, which prone to failure. So we're going to upgrade to this solid aluminium one. All these parts are available on our shop. Okay, so first new seal. It's going to go on here. Like so, and then I prefer to get a little bit of grease just so it slides on easier and doesn't snag, and that goes on there. There we are. Just go on with your fingers. Same again, I'm going to grease that seal, then that will be ready to install the water pump. That bit slides over that, and of course I've got two new gaskets to seal where it goes onto the engine block. There's the water pump installed with the 4 bolts and the new link tube just there. That's done to install the next bit, the Y piece. Again, bit of grease on the seals there so it slides in nicely without snagging the seals. And that goes in just there. Push it as far in by hand as possible, tighten it with the 2 bolts there. Sometimes these do take a gentle tap with like a rubber mallet, but you don't want to go insane, don't want to damage anything. But they are a nice snug fit. Right then guys, more new parts. So here we have a bunch of fuel system parts. We've got some brand new genuine Bosch high pressure direct injectors, all 8 of them with new seals and spring clip. We've also got 2 new high pressure genuine Bosch fuel pumps. We're replacing these because the old engine suffered damage. It melted pistons, as you can see there. Now the vehicle was previously tuned elsewhere. Now it could be the tune that's faulty, or it could be one of the fuel system parts or the ignition parts, which is why we're replacing everything, belt and braces. We're going to load on a tried and tested tune of our own, and the vehicle should be good for many miles then. So many vehicles have high pressure direct injection now, even on petrols like this engine. This vehicle has 2 pumps purely to keep up with the amount of fuel required for a beastly 5-litre engine. Behind these high pressure fuel pumps, they run on these camshaft buckets. These can wear out, they sort of sit there like that, and which is why we're replacing these. So the fuel pumps and the buckets run off camshaft here, which also drives the brake vacuum pump and the oil pump in the bottom of the engine, and these pumps basically go in there like so. All 8 injectors are in. Now we've got the new spring clips, sit over there and keep them under tension basically. I believe it's that way like that, and then when the fuel rail is bolted down over the top of this into these holes there, it keeps it all tensioned downwards. There's all 8 new injectors installed, sit over the top like so, and then when the fuel rail goes over the top of here, the pressure from the spring keeps these injectors pushed down into their seats. Here's the fuel rails, time for these to be installed. Goes that way like so, and then there's a pipe that connects the two so they share the same feed and fuel pressure, and then this one goes this side. Yeah, that's correct. Slots over the injectors, bolts down, and on the end there you've got a high pressure fuel sensor. Fuel rails are in, ignition coil packs, they need to go in as well.
This supercharger has been reconditioned by us at Wraptor. If you want to check out our supercharger maintenance, well, we've got a whole other video on that. And if you'd like the prices, please just get in touch by emailing us at info@wraptorcustoms.com. This supercharger is fitted with a performance pulley that we can also supply, but now it's time to bolt it back on to the engine. Common mistake here is people trap the knock sensors or the coolant pipes or the wiring by having them in the incorrect position. Supercharger gets bolted down, it can easily catch and crush these parts, but not here at Wraptor. Here I'm removing the little guides we've made in-house to ensure the supercharger goes down nice and straight and sits perfectly. Well, here the audio seems to have stopped working. I'm clearly explaining something to the camera, so presumably I'm saying, "Hi, I'm Dudley, I'm 6'3" with a nice Caucasian skin tone and a great singing voice." Or maybe not.
There's our manifold shields on, supercharger lid just nipped up with a couple of bolts for now. We've then put the new uprated metal coolant pipe on the top here that links into the Y-shaped one that goes under the supercharger. And now I'm going to install a bunch of the auxiliary components, all the pulleys and drive belts, etc.
Can I come out now?
We might need to do the lower pulley as well.
Yeah. You don't want to know where the lower pulley is. Yeah, slight surprise, Rob. We've got to put that thing in, the vroom vroom.
The electric motor?
No, not on this one.
The RB26?
Who?
No?
Are you talking motorbike language or something?
No.
I don't know what he's on about.
I'm going with what Matt said earlier.
Yes, in all seriousness, what we're doing to this XFR is reinstalling this 5-litre supercharged engine that we've rebuilt. Unfortunately, it melted a couple of pistons some months ago. Since then, we've rebuilt the whole engine and now it's time to get it in the car.
Not the pussycats, but the catalyst. Well, that one is completely broken up and fell apart. Rob on the case with a torch. Oh, sorry, there we are. Big hole in that one, falling apart. And then the other bank we have. Oh dear. All crumbled and blocked. And that would cause excessive back pressure and therefore probably mount the pistons in the engine. It's running, bled up the cooling system, bled up the power steering, and sounding smooth. So, shortly time for a road test. It's then going to need re-MOTing because it's been off the road for some time. And yeah, happy days. Well, it's sounding good. Well done, Rob. Well done, team. And of course, we need to set the transmission fluid level as everything's been apart. So that involves measuring the temperature on the diagnostic machine while Rob is underneath the car. So I'm currently high up in the air, physically checking the level. So it needs to be a nominal 35 degrees C. I need to run through the gears and set the level with the engine running at 35 degrees. Once we get that right, it's then ready for road test. There's the new high flow cats installed, all in stainless steel, to the original S-bends, and then we've done away with the horrible, messy and restrictive join clamps here and fitted our own little de-restrictive kit. You've got to watch some of these XFs, they just eat people. They just sneak up at you and eat you. Look, there's one. He was about to get eaten.
We just saved him. Are you okay, young man? He's being silly, I mean, which is fun, but somehow he's now got to get out of there. Rob, this is your lunch break, mate, okay? This is your lunch break now.
Right, I'm in this Jaguar XFR 2013 that we've just rebuilt the engine on, and the reason is the pistons melted. Further to that, we found the exhaust catalysts deteriorated, crumbling apart and blocking up the exhaust. And I believe I found the culprit of this. Okay, here we go. Got a little bit of private road here, so I can have a little play. Don't worry about the fuel, we've just put a little can in it. Don't worry about the engine light, we know about that, that's separate. We're just running the engine up, going to install a new software and stuff. Now, I'm going to take in second gear the car over 4,000 RPM, okay? Can you hear that? Bang, 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 bang.
So it's hard to capture the audio because I was filming on a mobile phone at the time and traveling down the road with the window shut in a well-insulated car. But outside the car, those pops and bangs were going off like a machine gun. Now, we give the option of loading on light pops and crackles at the customer's risk, just like Jaguar did from OEM on certain models, such as the F-Type. The pops and crackles can shorten the life of your cats a little bit, but we only load very light ones on there, so they're still going to last a decent amount of time and not self-destruct straight away, causing major engine damage.
Now you can get away with a bit, but the more you have, the quicker it will deteriorate the exhaust catalyst. And that level of pops and bangs is excessive. So you're driving it hard and you get to go bang, 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 bang. Eventually the heat, the little explosions that are going on in the exhaust via injecting fuel whilst the exhaust valves are open, so neat fuel goes down the exhaust, and then firing the spark plug, so it goes bang, little explosions in the exhaust. That'll deteriorate the catalysts. Good fun if you've got a D-cap. If you've got standard cats, wouldn't advise it. And yeah, that has basically, once the catalysts have deteriorated, caused excessive back pressure, which has then caused heat build-up inside the engine, melted the pistons, which is pretty terminal. That's a full engine rebuild at that point, which is what's happened to this one. Still, on the bright side, it's all back together now. At least we've found the culprit. We're going to change that engine ECU software for something a bit more reliable, and then the owner can have it back. Job done. Well guys, I'm not saying you can't have pops and crackles, because you can in moderation, and as long as you're aware that your catalyst won't last quite as long as catalysts that don't have pops and bangs on it. Now, I'm not going to drive this one anymore now, because I found the pops and bangs are excessive. That was only just over 4,000 revs, a fairly cool engine. I wasn't flooring it, and it was going bang, 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 bang. You know, if I took that all the way around the revs flat out, who knows what it'd be like, a machine gun or something like that. And that's currently got our high flow catalyst installed. Now, I do believe high flow sports catalyst can take a bit more of a beating than your standard catalyst, but if you want extreme pops and bangs, it's going to have to be a D-cap, and then it's not going to pass your MOT emissions, sadly, unless you can swap over the exhaust for, you know, track use and road time MOT use and stuff like that. But yeah, that's it. So I'm not going to drive that one anymore until our software's loaded on that I trust. Well, there it is, all done. 5 litre supercharged V8 rebuilt and installed. The root cause found and rectified. Now this is rocking our trusted level 2 tune software, our high flow cats, and it sounds and drives absolutely epic. I'll give it a rev before we send it off. Well, special thanks to Rob and James for helping me install this thing. Thanks to the owner for letting us do our thing on your car. And thank you for watching Wraptor Customs.